Hi, it's Handy Andy Tech Tips here. Well, imagine if you could get AI to control your keyboard and mouse so that you could automate tasks on your computer. That's now possible through what's called a computer use model, like Gemini 2.5. But the general concept is a lot older than you might think. Back in 1992, you could use the macro recorder application in Windows 3.1 to do basically the same thing. The difference was that you had to manually record a sequence of events, for example, mouse movements and clicks and key presses, and then you could play them back at a later date. But now, fast forward to 2026, and with the new generation of AI agents, you can simply type in a text prompt asking them to do a specific task, and they will send screenshots back to the model, which will work out the correct actions to undertake. It's a very powerful capability, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Gemini Computer Use Preview to autonomously browse the web. Now, to get up and running, you'll need to install and configure a few things. I'm going to be using Windows. This will work on Mac or Linux, but the setup will look a little bit different. So firstly, make sure that you have VS Code installed, because that's the IDE that we'll be using. Next, install and configure Git for source control. When you're going through the setup, you can leave most of the default options as they are, but when it asks you to choose the default editor, change it from Vim to VS Code. Okay, next install Python, which will allow us to run the main project. I use the version in the Microsoft Store, but you can also get an installer from the Python website. You'll also need to install Node.js, which is required for the Playwright browser testing framework that we'll be using. Of course, links to the websites for all of these tools can be found in the video description, along with a link to the GitHub page for the Computer Use Preview repo, which has detailed instructions for setup. Alright, let's get started. I'm in VS Code and I'm going to open a terminal window, then click on the plus button and choose Git Bash. The first command I'm going to enter is git clone, then the URL of the GitHub repo for the project, and then the name of a new folder I want to clone it into, which is Gemini Browser Demo. This will download all the files that we need into that folder. Okay, now it's done, and I'm going to open the folder in VS Code. And then I'll click Yes, I trust the author. Now I'll reopen the Bash terminal, because it got closed when I opened the project, and I'll use the second command, which is python3-m venv.venv. This basically creates a Python virtual environment where we can configure certain things without affecting the rest of our system. So I'll run that, and now you can see that we have a .venv folder, and then inside that there is a scripts folder. If you're using Mac or Linux, the scripts folder might be called bin. But anyway, inside it, there is a script called activate, which we need to run. So type source.venv/scripts, or /bin if you're on Mac or Linux, /activate. Now, you'll know if it's run correctly if you get a response back of .venv in brackets. See that? It means that we've activated the environment properly. Okay, time for our next command, which is pip install -r requirements.txt. The requirements text file contains a list of packages that need to be installed in Python for this project to work, and this command will go and grab all of them. There's quite a few, so we'll just wait for that to finish. When all the packages are installed, we'll need to set up Playwright. This is a library that's used for automated testing of websites, but mostly these tests are written in JavaScript code. We're going to let an agent control it instead. So run npm init playwright at latest. It will then ask you a few questions, but the default options should work fine. When it's finished installing, you should run playwright install-deps chrome and wait for that. And then after that, run playwright install chrome. And of course, it's saying that I've already installed it because I was playing around with this earlier. Okay, so the final part of the setup is to get a Gemini API key, which allows the agent to talk to the model. The best way to do this is to sign up for a free trial of Google Cloud at cloud.google.com. The trial gives you a couple of $100 of free credits, which will last for 90 days. You will need to put in your credit card details for verification, but it won't actually charge you for anything unless you later decide to activate a full account. When you have started your free trial, go to Google AI Studio at aistudio.google.com and then click on the Get API Key link down in the sidebar. You'll see a list of keys that you currently have. There will probably be a default one there already, but I've created another one just for this project. Now, in order for the key to work properly with a computer use model, the quota tier should be listed as tier 1 or above. If it says free tier, it won't work, so you'll need to click on the link to set up the billing. And then you can configure the payment method that you set up in Google Cloud. Okay, so once you have a tier 1 key, click on the key link. And in the dialog that appears, you can copy the long string of characters under the API key heading. Now, when you go back to VS Code, you can enter the following command. Export Gemini API key, and then in quotes, paste that key that you just copied. Phew, after all of that, we're finally done. So let's have some fun now, shall we? I'll start by asking the agent to do a simple Google search. So I'll type this command, python main.py -- query, and then in quotes, go to Google and type I love AI into the search box. And then we'll need to specify the environment to use. So type --env equals playwright in quotes. And now let's see what happens. It's creating a session, and a Chrome browser just popped up. And here we go. It very quickly typed I love AI into the search box. And now we have a captcha test. I guess it really is correct this time. We are using a robot to send the request. So I'll go back to VS Code, and it says, yeah, the AI is actually asking us for help with the captcha, which is quite funny. So I'll type, yes, I wish to proceed. And then I'll go back to the browser, and it's asking me to select the squares with the crosswalks. So I think that's all of them, and I'm done with that. And now we have our page of search results. Not bad. You'll notice as well that the browser is running in a sandboxed environment, which means that it has a fresh profile, and I'm not logged into my Google account or any other services. This is good for security because it means that the agent can't send any weird emails on my behalf or buy a Rolex on eBay or anything like that. Now, a really cool thing is that in the terminal, we get a running commentary on everything that the agent is doing. So it describes its reasoning, and then it says what actions it's taken to achieve the result. So you can see in this case, it says that it's clicked on a particular area of the screen. Okay, let's try something a bit more complicated. I want it to go to YouTube and find me a video of a funny golden retriever. So it will open up the browser, and now it's going to YouTube, no captures this time. And then it types funny golden retriever, and here's some videos. Okay, well, it didn't open any particular video, just the search results, but it still claims that it's achieved the goal. So it works well with Google's own services, but let's try something else. The Australian Bureau of Meteorology recently redesigned their website, and it's been criticised for being quite difficult to use, especially when it comes to the rain radar section. So I'm going to ask the agent to go to bom.gov.au and show me the Sydney rain radar. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so here's the browser. Now it's going to open the site, and here it is. It's not doing too much, so I'll go back to VS Code, and the agent claims that there's a user consent dialog. I can't see one, but anyway, I'll just type, yes, I wish to proceed. And then I'll go back and I'll scroll down the page a bit, and here we go. It's gone to the rain radar now and the weather maps section. And it's scrolled to the map. Now the question is, can it find Sydney on here? Let's see. Oops, it's zooming into South Australia. right in the middle of South Australia near Coober Pedy, but Sydney is on the east coast, nowhere near there. So it seems to recognise its mistake now and it's kind of zooming out again. And now it's scrolled back up to the top of the page and it's probably going to just search for the location instead. Will it? Yeah, there we go, Sydney. So there's a few options. Which will it choose? It wasn't happy with any of them, I don't think, so it backspaced on that and now it's typing it again. So choose the right one this time. Oops, it's chosen Darlington, Sydney, and there's no results for that one. Hey, agent, just between you and me, I would have chosen just regular Sydney, New South Wales, all right? Well, it's trying yet again. And no, it looks like it's just given up. Now this is the best part. If we scroll through the logs in the terminal, we can see the model's internal monologue as it tries to find the correct radar and kind of fails. So I guess you could say that Gemini has officially failed the Bureau of Meteorology test. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about computer use agents. They're definitely fun to play around with, but I think you need to stick to the safer options. For example, I won't be trying out the infamous OpenClaw on my main system anytime soon, but this Gemini Computer Use Preview seems harmless enough, which is why I demoed it in this video. Anyway, I'm Handy Andy and thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more AI tutorials.